I was like, well, if you're going to be there, I mean, I'm sure pretty much all your players will come back. So
Quinn Buckner, Isaiah Thomas, Keith Smart, keep going.
Yeah,
they were all there.
So I mean, it was a big deal because again, not that a lot of fans always sided with him, and obviously there is a little bit of polarizing. But for the school, he did a lot of good for the school. I mean, a lot of money he paid to the or the library at the school, like from his own from the own money he was making. So like. I mean, again, look, he is a troubled guy. Like his history, I'm not gonna like wash away, but like he did a lot of good for the University of IU.
So it was a nice closure moment.
It was a nice closure, and again, he lives in Bloomington, so it's just to kind of also like get it out of the way, so because he's still beloved there, and he can just attend like volleyball games. He can attend. Baseball games.
Baseball game last spring, yeah.
So, and actually, the interesting thing after that game, because Pat Knight is actually a scout for Indianapolis Pacers. The other kind of a cool moment is after that game for IU Purdue game, he went to a Pacers game against the Pelicans, and he sat in a box with Gene Cady. So,
well, good. Okay, follow-up question: will Rick Pitino ever be welcomed back to Kentucky or Louisville? Ever?
No,
neither.
No,
not even UK.
No.
Where he left on his own power?
No, I don't think the Big Blue Nation would never forgive him, and no, they're not going to.
Because of his traitor ways?
Yeah, I mean, they hate Louisville. There's nothing going to change that.
I think there's a chance that he goes back to U of L. I would agree with UK, probably not UK, but I think maybe U of L. I don't know.
But he hates U of L, doesn't hate UK, he himself.
Yeah.
But UK fans hate him. U of L fans still like him.
Some. But, this is a guy who had lots of chances. I mean...
Let's say we hit one of those anniversaries of the NCAA championship for UK, and I don't remember the years right now, but a milestone. Will he not come back? Okay.
I don't think he'll be invited back. Wow. I think that the fan base would just not tolerate that. I don't think we realize, just how vitriolic for them.
Runs deep, huh?
Yeah. I mean, it's nasty.
I think with possibly with Tina, I think U of L will be willing to bring it back. Again, I think it might be like a Bobby Knight IU thing. Maybe in 20 years, if Patino's still kicking it, he might be willing to.
He'd be 85 because he's 65 now.
He might be willing to extend the olive branch, I think. I don't know that. But
yeah,
it's going to take time. Let's put it that way.
His veins are full of olive oil anyway, so
yeah,
that pickles anybody.
Dangling.
Okay, college basketball. We're only 5 weeks from the first round, believe it or not, of NCAA tournament games. So, thoughts on Kentucky, Louisville, Indiana?
I saw the Louisville game. They finished. They for the first time in, I guess, 10 games, whatever, beat Virginia. It was impressive. It was a little, cardiac cards kind of time because they were up by 14 and just blew all their leads. And I saw a little bit of the UK game. I mean, obviously, they have talent. I mean, they really do. If they can just manage to channel everything and do that teamwork. I mean, what's his name? Richards, the center. My goodness, that man will be pro next year. Mm-hmm. So it was impressive. And for me, sadly, I thought Carolina had Duke, and then the kid from Duke hits the miracle shot at the buzzer, goes into OT, and Carolina loses by 2. So, but you're not seeing that dominant powerhouse like. There's no head and shoulders above everybody.
When Baylor's ranked number 1, I got a question. Right, exactly that. And San Diego State is number 2. Those aren't exactly like, Hall of Fame schools you think of for basketball.
What it says for me, CBS is like, man, our ratings are not that good this year. That's what it says to me.
It's about right, isn't it?
But, yeah, I think
wide open tournament?
Yeah, and I think the Big Ten is the league this year. I mean, they have more consistent, good teams. I'd say 6, maybe even 7 teams in the tournament.
You're about halfway through most conference schedules now, or maybe 8 games left. Now, a footnote on that Indiana game, Purdue beat Indiana pretty easily. Indiana is just what's with Archie? What's going on with Archie?
Well, the bad thing is we're in 3 seasons in, and like you should start seeing a spin in the right direction, and they just can't shoot. So most teams are just zoning them up and being like, beat us. And the real troubling thing is, for the most part, they play well at home. I mean, I know this is like most basketball teams; they play well at home. They didn't show up at home against the rival, and it's. I mean, look, it's troubling because they're gonna lose out on recruits because obviously they're gonna be like, well, I'm gonna come here. You're probably gonna be out the door,
right?
Just based on it. So like it and also the other thing is Fred Glass is leaving. So, like, it is a new AD, and usually when you have new ADs or new GMs in sports, they want their own person.
And then there's Chris Mack, second year, and look at him. It's pretty amazing, really.
Yeah.
At U of L.
Yeah.
Well, the thing about U of L that's impressive is the depth. I mean, guys, Jordan Wara is the guy, but he's not there game in and game out. I mean, you've had some other guys that step up each game, and they're like the feature or whatever. They get hot.
Fresh Kimball, my favorite name in ball.
Yeah, and I'm impressed with what's the guy from Trinity, Johnson,
David Johnson.
David, yeah. And so McMahon has had his moments. I mean, it's impressive to think about where those kids were 2 years ago with just that turmoil and to come back and get them focused. So I think, I think Satterfield and Chris Mack are great hires. Those guys have turned around programs that really were in trouble.
Yeah.
Okay, it's time for
Wild Ass Predictions.
Take it away. What do you have today?
I'm saying Cleveland Browns
What?
make the playoffs next year. That's my wild ass prediction.
That's a
Pittsburgh can't win.
That's a tasty one.
To the NFL he goes.
Well, I'm going to go to the XFL.
Okay, I like it.
Again,
right.
this will be biased. But Tigre Scales, who's an IU product, he will win Defensive Player of the Year. He played well for Dallas. He had 5 tackles and a sack.
But they
and
lost.
3 tackles for loss.
So week
he
one,
played well.
Week one,
He's flashing.
you are in the weeds. And week one of XFL, man, it's like, what the heck?
I got a feeling.
I like it. My prediction is it will be announced soon that Bobby Knight has a terminal illness. I know it's kind of dark, but he just looked so couldn't even walk under his own power without Quinn Buckner and whatnot. So
Yeah. Well,
morbid. That's morbid.
Yeah.
yeah.
I just want to make one more note in terms of since the draft is coming up, and this will be my real quick nugget. In terms of guys not in Power 5 who I think can make a big impact next in the NFL. You look at some of the receivers who had a lot of success. They were kind of wide receivers who were running backs. This last draft class with A.J. Brown and Deebo Samuels. From the University of Memphis, Antonio Gibson, he had 735 yards receiving, 8 touchdowns, 369 yards rushing, 4 touchdowns. He's 6'2", 221. He's a big dude. I think he'll be drafted probably day 2, second round, third round. I think he'll pay dividends first year.
But he needs a name like Debo.
Yeah.
So where do you think it's going to end up? New England?
No, because New England. Look, as great as New England is, well, one, they don't have a second round pick. They traded. They traded that for Marvin Sanu, and also as great as New England is, they are awful. Are train wrecks at wide receivers. I have no idea drafted wide receivers they are.
Antonio Brown will be back next year. I'll guarantee it.
Wow, there's a wild.
With Jameis Winston at quarterback?
No.
No chance of that? No?
No.
Okay.
All
right, anything else?
That's it for me.
Yeah, that's a wrap for me.
Okay, this is Sports and Other Stuff, sponsored in part by Rudy's Furniture Mart. liquidating to the bare walls. Everything must go, from the rugs on the floor to the pictures on the wall. Make us an offer. We no say no. Stop in.
And this is Fish. We have a special on occasional tables. And if you come by on Fridays, Miss Shelby makes chocolate chip cookies.
Okay, we are the Sport Weasels. Thanks for your time this time. Until next time, so long, we think.